welcome back to my channel. I'm joined today with Justin, my boyfriend. So today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of living in the UK. We are both born and bred in the UK.
Yeah.
And we did a video about the pros and cons of living in Singapore. It went down really well with you guys, so thank you for that. I will link it in the iCards if you want to check it out. So to recap, we are both born and bred British, and we have been living in Singapore for the past 2.5 years. So we wanted to talk about the pros and cons of living in the UK, mainly because we don't live there anymore, so I think it's kind of cool to reflect back. So we have a list of pros and cons, and we're just going to go ahead and get started. So just like last time, we're going to start off with the pros. So the first thing I have is seasons.
Yeah, 4 seasons per year.
4 seasons, so spring, summer, autumn, winter. I think the reason we're talking about that is because now we live in Singapore, there's 0 seasons.
Yeah.
Seasons do not exist. It's just summer all year round. So I think now, like in hindsight, we actually appreciate having seasons.
Well, it's nice to mix up your wardrobe instead of having shorts, t-shirt and sandals.
And flip-flops every day of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I never used to be big on seasons, but I definitely miss spring. Like spring was one of my favourite seasons. Autumn is amazing. I've never been a big fan of winter. I still don't think I would be. Maybe for like
winter.
You like winter, but maybe for like a week I can
don't
hack
like working
winter.
in winter.
No, but winter weather, I don't miss that, to be honest. Next is freedom of speech.
Can say what you want, where you want.
Oh my god, you sounded really Singaporean then. Can
say what you want, where you want, and you're not gonna get done. You're not gonna get told off for it.
Yeah. In the UK, we can say whatever we want. We can say shit about our government. We can voice our opinion. Anything. Which, in hindsight, I think is great. Everyone should be allowed freedom of speech. Next is the size of the country and the fact that you can travel to different parts of the country.
Yeah. So the UK, it's quite big. So different parts of the UK, you've got Lake District, national parks.
Well, you've got like England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales.
Different coastlines.
Yeah, there's so many places you can visit.
So if you want to go, say if you lived in a city and you wanted a weekend break, you could just drive 3-4 hours, maybe to the southwest.
Or get a train.
And you could be on the coast, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You can sort of escape.
Yeah, there's so much to see in the UK. I think a lot of Singaporeans always say, oh, I really want to go to London, or oh, I've been to London. I'm like, have you seen any other parts of England? Because I personally, I'm not a big fan of London, so I always encourage people to see other parts. See the parts that people don't usually go to, because I'm not a big fan of cities. Pub culture. So we have pubs. How would you explain? It's a public
house.
And
pub
it sells beers.
But it's like a sociable place to be.
Yeah.
So anyone that's been to Australia from Singapore, you would know that the pub culture there is similar to the UK. So you finish work and then you'll see everyone go to the pub pretty much, where you can play. You'll play darts. You'll play pool. You'll in the summer months drink in the sun.
Yeah. Somewhere you go with your families, with friends, by yourself.
But it's not necessarily for the sake of drinking alcohol. It's just to meet your friends.
Yeah, and they do amazing pub food as well. So next is the NHS, which is our National Health Service. It's free healthcare.
It's a godsend. So National Health Service is paid via national insurance. Everyone pays it. So regardless whether you use it or you don't, it's free. You can say maybe it's not free because you do have to pay national insurance, but say you get, I don't know, a brain tumour, you don't have to think, I don't have the money to get the operation. You just go to the NHS.
Yeah,
it might be quite a long waiting list, but it's free ultimately. And so having that the burden of worrying about it, there's no worry there.
Yeah, for sure.
I've used it 3 times. I've had.
Oh, you mean for operations?
Operations.
You've been in and out of hospital all the time.
3 times, and it's not cost me a penny. So.
Yeah, that's the same when I had my eye operation actually.
Yeah. So, what's it cost your parents?
Nothing.
Yeah. No cash up front. Just national insurance contribution.
Yeah.
Depending on what you earn.
Amazing. Next is the public sector and civil servants.
So public sector, you're talking about the ambulance, you're talking about the police, you're talking about the firefighters. They're some of the best in the world, and just their response time is so fast.
Yeah.
Public services, they work hard. Even the nurses, doctors.
And they're not paid enough for it.
They're not paid enough for it.
But that's a whole nother story.
But they do a good job.
Yeah. So next is work-life balance. Balance. I feel like we have a nice balance.
So when say you work 9 to 5, when it comes to 5 o'clock, that's it. Switch off, laptop down, leave the door. Of course, if you're high up, you're a big manager in the company, yeah, okay, you have to stay, but you're paid enough to do that anyway. But for everyone else within companies, yeah, that's it. So you finish work and then you go and enjoy your life. So you see your friends, see your family.
It's not to say that people don't do overtime in the UK, because of course they do. But generally...
But you're paid for it.
Okay, number one, you're paid for it. But generally, they would finish on time, which is, I guess, such a big difference to here, whereas people might hang around. I'm not saying every company in Singapore stays late, but generally there's like an unwritten rule that you can't leave until your boss leaves. So people kind of hang around. But
whereas UK, it's like the end of school when the bell rings,
as
everyone's
soon as it rings,
back in the bag, gone.
Yeah, for sure. Next is supermarkets.
Supermarkets.
We miss UK supermarkets so much. Tesco is now available in Singapore on Honest Bee, which I love, but Sainsbury's, Asda, there is a Marks and Spencer's in Singapore, but it's so expensive. Like, it's expensive in the UK, but it's so marked up here, like, I just can't afford it. But just like the variety of food, like, there's so much food that we miss, and it's just so cheap.
Supermarkets are so big. I know there's some places here like Giant, and they're huge, but your average supermarket in the UK, because they don't have land limitation, every single one is massive.
And it's not just groceries, like you can have like a Tesco Extra and you'll have all your groceries, but then you have all your electronics, your homeware. Everything is in one store.
It's going to be open, and you know they've got absolutely everything.
I guess it's like our version of like a Walmart, maybe. I know Walmart in the UK, US is like another level, but I think convenience-wise, that's kind of what we're talking about. Okay, next is humour and sarcasm.
Just the way it's not so formal.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I think we know how to take the piss out of ourselves. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We have a certain type of humour. And we have so many good comedians as well in the UK. I think we have so many, like the BBC have brought out so many good mockumentaries.
Yeah.
Like we are huge on mockumentaries. We love to like just take the piss out of ourselves, and I just think like it's hard for any other like nation to understand our humour. Like maybe if they saw it, they'd be like, "What the hell is going on?" But
I have to think
we have a certain kind of humour that
I have to think about what I say to the people I work with, because they might not get it.
Yeah, it's hard to explain if you're British, but I hope you guys understand what I mean. Buying a car. So
you could buy. My first car cost me 800 Singapore dollars. And it was about another 800 Singapore dollars to insure and tax for the year. Yeah. So $2,000 and you'll be on the road.
Yeah. And how much does it cost to buy a car here in Singapore?
Not even worth thinking about.
Hundreds of thousands?
Just for the COE alone is tens of thousands.
So, yeah. I think that's definitely a pro, is that you could have no money, basically, and you'll still be able to get a car.
But some areas in the UK, a car is not a luxury, it's a necessity. You would need it.
Yeah. I've put arts, music, actors, TV dramas. I'm a huge TV binge watcher. Like, I love watching TV shows, and I just feel like the UK has some of the best TV shows. Like, we always come up with amazing concepts, and then like Australia,
copied,
Australia and America will always copy our shows. Like, I don't know, First Dates, Big Brother, Gogglebox, The Office. Like, I just feel like so proud to be British when I look at like the standard of TV and movies and
just creativity.
Yeah, like the UK is so creative. Like the creative scene is huge, and I'm just so proud of that. I think we have like amazing artists, amazing musicians. We have some of the best musicians in the world. Makes me proud, man. Makes me proud. It's not often that I get proud of being British, I'm gonna admit, but the creativity scene does make me really proud. And the last one I have is recycling. Recycling is like mandatory in the UK now, which is amazing. Everyone in their house or outside their house should have recycling bins provided by the council, which encourages everyone to recycle. And that's something that's definitely lacking in Singapore, and it does bother me. I do think about it quite a lot, is where are the recycling facilities? Especially like we've lived in 2 condos now, there's no recycling facilities, and it is something that bothers me. There's a lot of wastage in Singapore, and I know they are working on it, but I feel like it needs to be taken up a level. Let me know your thoughts on that. Okay, that is everything for pros. I think we had a good amount of pros there.
Cons.
Let's move on to cons.
Food.
I think the quality of our food is
just bland.
Crap.
Meat, vegetables, and potatoes.
Yeah. A lot of Singaporeans ask me, what's your favourite British dish? I'm like, we don't really have I don't know, we're going to say like shepherd's pie, roast dinner, but like...
They're all the same, basically.
What is like the British national dish is like chicken tikka masala. We're still dishes from other countries, like Indian food is huge in the UK, Chinese food is huge in the UK, but it's not the same, it's not like proper Indian and Chinese food. It's like catered to British people. Italian's
quite
huge.
Bland tasting.
But as for stereotypical British food, we don't really have anything.
Roast dinner, shepherd's pie,
like
casserole,
smiley faces, like there's nothing.
But it's all meat, vegetables, potatoes.
Yeah. Cost of public transport is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
So I live just outside of London. I'd have to travel into London for work all the time. A travel card for the day to get into London would cost me £20, so that's 40 Sing dollars just for one day. And people have to pay that to commute into work. It's a 20-minute train ride, by the way.
20-minute train ride,
it's only 20 minutes.
And that costs you £20, $40.
It's ridiculous.
So
Taxis are unbelievably expensive. It's just, something needs to be changed about the cost of public transport because no one can afford it. How much is it costing now to buy a house in the UK?
It's insane. But then Singapore is insane.
Oh yeah, Singapore is crazy. It's probably not as much as Singapore, do you think?
Maybe not. Average house in the UK, I don't know.
200,000?
200,000 maybe, starting price?
Yeah, I think around 200,000 starting price.
Like an average
is an average price to start buying a
outside
house.
of the city. If you go in, living into a city, sky's the limit.
I think the issue nowadays is that definitely people our age, in their 20s, are struggling to buy houses, and there's so much pressure on them to buy instead of rent, and no one can afford it. A lot of people are still living with their parents at home.
Say you need £20,000 deposit minimum to put down on a mortgage,
not everyone
and
has
you can only save £2,000 a year.
Yeah.
It's just not feasible. You just physically couldn't do it. And then by the time you say 10 years you've saved, and then they say, oh no, it's gone up now, it's 40,000. Well, okay, chasing something you'll never catch.
Yeah, definitely a big issue right now. Next is politics. There's a lot of unrest in the UK right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's had enough. They want change.
With Brexit,
they want to be listened to.
Everything,
And there's just a lot of unrest right now. It's very unstable.
It's not a place you want to be.
Everyone's very angry, but they have the right to be angry. I'm not going to go into details about why. If you want to find out, you can do your research. But there's definitely a strong divide in the UK right now, for sure. Next is drinking culture. Us British are known to be lagerlouts.
So there's a strong pub culture,
not
but then there's a limit. But we tend to get to the limit and then carry on.
Yeah,
which is a problem.
Drunk out of their minds, lying in the middle of the street,
sick all down their chest,
paralytic, throwing up.
And I'm sure, the public services like the doctors, nurses, the ambulance service, I'm sure they're sick of it.
Yeah.
It must take up so much of their time.
Abuse of the system just for people that don't know how to handle their alcohol. I think maybe the drinking age in the UK needs to be brought up. Maybe that's one way to resolve the problem. Currently, the drinking age is 18. Yeah. Maybe it needs to be brought up to 21. Maybe kids just aren't responsible enough yet to handle their drink.
Don't know.
So I have weather down as a con, and although we just said that we miss seasons, I don't miss like 200 days of rain a year. Yeah. It rains a lot.
Say it's just hours of sunlight.
Yeah.
You wake up in the dark, you go to work.
Sometimes you get 6-7 hours of daylight. Work
finishes and it's dark, you get no sunlight.
Yeah, so that's something I definitely don't miss, and it's something that can definitely affect your mood as well.
Yeah. And you have to drive to work in the morning and scrape the ice off the inside of your window. Not nice.
Next I have state education. I think the UK is kind of notorious state education isn't the best.
It's lacking now.
In schools.
It used to be okay, but now we're just falling down the ranks.
Yeah, I think
sharply.
It's getting worse and worse. We have a lot of kids that misbehave in schools.
Yep.
And it's a big issue. And it could be to do with their home life. I would 100% put it down to that if we're going to get deep.
Don't know.
But there's
simple things.
There's an issue with discipline. So the teachers, not only can the teachers not teach properly, but also there's a lack of good teachers.
Yeah.
There really is.
Because people come straight out of university and go into teaching.
Yeah.
With no industrial experience. So they can teach what they read in a book, but they've got no application for it. How can you inspire the youth and get them on board? Say something like maths. You should have people like engineers, physicists teaching this, and they say, yes, you're learning about algebra. This is where it can be used, because all the kids think, where am I ever going to use this in my life?
Yeah. So seemingly the way to give your kid a better education in the UK, if you can afford it, which only really the upper class can afford it, let's be honest.
It's too expensive,
is to put your kids into private school or boarding school. Not anything we can comment about because we didn't live that kind of life.
There are public schools that say if you do an 11+, you can get into grammar schools.
Oh, okay.
That are free, state funded.
Yeah.
But you have to pass an exam and be of a smart kids, basically.
Okay, I think we're going to stop there. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. Lots of pros and cons for living in the UK. I would love to know if you guys watching, let me know where you're from down in the comments below. Let me know if you're British, if you're Singaporean, wherever you're from. Do remember to subscribe if you're new to my channel and you would like to see more. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Listen, seeing you got ritualistic. Cleansing my soul of addiction for now, 'cause I'm falling apart.